The world has so many problems, and how we're going to solve them. Best way I certainly know, and I think the best way is to have more entrepreneurs, better entrepreneurs, and more connected entrepreneurs. Fall in love with the why. What's the problem you're solving? Don't fall in love with the product. Don't fall in love with the investor. Fall in love with the problem that you're solving. That sometimes people say, well, social entrepreneurship is different than traditional entrepreneurship. And that's not what we teach. What we teach at MIT is entrepreneurship is an ethical activity no matter what you're doing. Entrepreneurship is different than other things. You don't do it by yourself as much. You do it with other people, but those people don't work for you. It's a community. It's a distributed way of doing that. We just had our president, President Biden, say, everyone deserves the dignity of having a job. And I agree with that. I hope everybody can have a job. But I think even if you have a job, there's another level of dignity, and that is being an entrepreneur, where you can create your own job, you can create it for others, you can create more jobs. So what you're doing at BA is so important, and that's what, to me, that's real entrepreneurship.
Bill Aulet, a true visionary who is changing the world of entrepreneurship education. As the Managing Director of Martin Trust Center for MIT Entrepreneurship and Professor of Practice at the MIT Sloan School of Management, Bill is on a mission to dispel the myths and misconceptions that surround the world of entrepreneurship. His incredible journey has taken him from IBM to becoming a three-time serial entrepreneur. What sets Bill apart is his deep understanding of entrepreneurship, which is not just built on theory, but on his own real-world experience. His groundbreaking book, Disciplined Entrepreneurship, has been translated into over 18 languages, and his edX courses have been taken by hundreds of thousands of people in nearly 200 countries. Bill's commitment to creating a vibrant and inclusive entrepreneurial community is unparalleled. Most fascinating part is, he is a humble leader, committed to practicality, and has a sense of urgency when it comes to creating a well-functioning entrepreneurial ecosystem that knows no boundaries. Today, I am honored to introduce you to Bill Aulet, an inspiration to entrepreneurs around the world.
So good morning, Professor. Thank you very much for being with us. It's a real honor to have you. So I was doing your edX courses and I become really a great fan of yours. This is mostly because you are one of those few professors who could relate to entrepreneurship to the real life and without giving any kind of those jargons and to some extent some irrelevant stuff. So thank you for being such a great educator. Thank you very much.
Well, Rashed, can I just ask you, don't call me professor, you just call me Bill, because I'm an accidental professor. I'm a real entrepreneur.
Okay, sure.
And as you know, in entrepreneurship, there's no status. It's everybody's together and everybody, it's just about what you get done, not any titles.
Yeah. Fine with me. That is more easier for me. So
Right.
Good morning, Bill. Thank you very much for being with us. It's a real honor to have you. And I can't thank you enough for making time out all of your busy schedule. And although it will be a very short podcast, to be honest, it's less of a podcast, more of a mentoring session for me and the people I work with, because we work with a lot of young founders. And I thought having your experience documented in even a 20 minutes video would be helpful for a lot of people. Thank you very much.
It's my honor. I mean, we're all in this together, Rashed. The world has so many problems, and how we're going to solve them. I think the best way I certainly know, and I think the best way is to have more entrepreneurs, better entrepreneurs, and more connected entrepreneurs. So we're all in this together, and we can't do it alone. We have to do it together.
Yeah, thank you. Probably that's where we got connected through LinkedIn and everything, and you kindly agreed to being with us actually. So I have a few questions. I know culture dominates. Like culture is something. Culture is the plan. It is something that is very important. And you and I are sitting in two different culture in the two different parts of the world. Despite that, I would like to know that what are some of the key characteristics and skills that you believe are really important for young entrepreneurs, and why you rank those particular set of traits and skills higher than other traits and other skills.
Yes. So first of all, yeah, culture is different, and and I'm an American. I've never been to Bangladesh. I've been to Pakistan, but never been to Bangladesh, and been to Pakistan a number of times. But I was shocked when I wrote, when I first wrote this, or actually when I taught this material, then they said, hey, we'd like to make it into a book. And then I said, well, I don't know how many people will be interested in it. And then the book's been translated into like over 25 different languages. It blows my mind. But one thing I've learned, Rashed, is that no matter what culture you are, no matter where you are, there are certain first principles of entrepreneurship that apply in Bangladesh or in the United States or in Dubai or in, London, England. And I would say there are three. First of all, you have to have the spirit of a pirate. You have to be willing to be different. If all the fish are swimming this way, are you willing to swim that way? And you can't just go along, get along. You have to think differently. You have to have that mindset. I want to change the world. I want to make it better. I don't just want to do the same thing, because doing the same thing is just optimizing. That's management. The second thing is, even if you want to be different, you have that spirit of a pirate, you have to have the discipline of a Navy SEAL. And this is what we talk about. You have to have the execution skills. When you want to go the other way, you've got to be very, very disciplined about how you pursue that opportunity. And that is incredibly important. And often people say, I want to be an entrepreneur, and they miss the discipline part of it. And that's why we call it disciplined entrepreneurship. The third thing that I would say that's universal is what I call anti-fragility. And that means that, in the face of change, you get stronger. You see change as an opportunity. You don't see it as something that's bad. And entrepreneurs, one of them in my class, I think it was 4 weeks ago, said, one thing I learned out of this class was, when there's a storm, don't go inside and hide from it. Don't just try to survive a storm. Go out and dance in the raindrops. And when there's change, if there's adversity, entrepreneurs have to have the mindset, whether they're startup entrepreneurs, whether they're entrepreneurs in academic institutions, whether they're in big companies, you have to see change as an opportunity. And that's anti-fragility. By anti-fragility, we mean fragility means in the face of change, you break. Adversity, you break. Resilience is in the face of change, you just keep going. Anti-fragility means I get stronger in the face of change. So I think those three characteristics, the willingness to be different, the discipline to pursue it, and just this mindset that change and adversity is an opportunity, not something that's bad.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I do agree with this, because these are very important traits. Wherever we go, if we do an analysis of all the successful entrepreneurs, we'll see that these are the common themes, these are the common traits that are present in all the successful entrepreneurs. So as an organization, one of our key strategic priorities is to deal with those ventures who have the social and environmental aspect as their core, who want to solve either a social problem or an environmental problem. So I just want to know, since you have been in this for 25 to 30 years, how do you see, why do you think that traditional forms of entrepreneurship are different from these social and climate ventures? And what are some of the unique challenges that these type of social and climate ventures have that are not present in the traditional entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so first of all, there is a difference. I mean, there's a difference as you're thinking about the IT industry, a Facebook relative to what you're doing, a Twitter compared to what you're doing, a Google. These are IT. And all those kind of fall under this, the laws of Moore's law, that the power of the computer is just going to get more powerful. They fall under under the umbrella of Metcalfe's law. The more people you connect, the more value you connect. These are what people traditionally think of as entrepreneurship. Yet those are different because they're very fast, and they're very profitable when they come out. If you sell software, you're basically 100% profit on the other end once you have it. You're just shipping a bucket of bits to them. However, when you're talking, so it's very fast, it's very profitable, and you don't require that much investment. When you look at climate, it's much slower. When your product comes out, you're not as profitable as software, and you've got to take a lot more time. It just takes a lot more time, and you have to think of regulatory, government, societal implications of it. So when we first started, we said to make a successful team, you need a hacker and a hustler, like someone who's writing code and someone who's going out and getting customers. But now, as we look at it, when you look at climate and social, you have to have, a hacker and a hustler, but you also need kind of a policy person on that team as well. And then you need a financial person that can look at more financial options than just venture capital. And those are very different. I will say that sometimes people say, well, social entrepreneurship is different than, traditional entrepreneurship. And that's not what we teach. What we teach at MIT is entrepreneurship is an ethical activity no matter what you're doing. It is not just about profiteering. If you want to be profiting and all the time, then go to Wall Street. That's not what we do. When we do something, there's a mission to it, and that company will go up and it will go down, it'll go up, it'll go down. But the reason that people will stay with it is because they believe in the mission of it. And this is very, very important. I think that profiteering is different than entrepreneurship. And so we used to have two classes. We had a social entrepreneurship class and we had a regular entrepreneurship class. And when I started, I just put those together and I said, every entrepreneur here is a social entrepreneur. There's nothing bad about making money if you do it in the right way. And let me also say that if you're making money in the wrong way, just to make money, as soon as you start going down, people will leave you and they'll go to another profiteering opportunity and you're never going to build a great company. So I think the idea that having a strong, what we call raison d'etre, which is a French word for reason for existence, think mission, vision, why we're here, is very important for every entrepreneur, because you're never going to attract high quality talent only on money, and you're certainly not going to keep it if it's just about the money.
Okay, quite amazing. Actually, you have pointed out a number of different perspectives. From there, I would like to highlight few. One is the financial perspective, and another one is the mission. In a traditional sense, or in most part of the world, those social and climate ventures are considered to have some. Okay, they may have something, some revenue stream, but they are expected to have more focus on the impact. Probably, and many people think that these two are mutually exclusive. So in your class, you teach, I know from your edX classes, from your, let's say, cash is oxygen. This is very important for the ventures to survive. So what are some strategies that you believe are really useful in making this balance, like profit with purpose? So what are those strategies?
Yeah. So first of all, I think it's very important to say that if a company is not economically sustainable, it's not going to help people. If the company is not in business, it helps nobody. It's like when they say on a plane, before you help other people, put the mask on yourself, because oxygen, you need to breathe to help other people. So a business needs to have discipline, that it creates value for someone and it captures value from other people. That is, it gets rent. It might be the same person. And that rent needs to exceed your cost to make you sustainable. And that is very important, because if it doesn't, if you have a business model where you don't extract rent for the value you're creating, you won't continue to create value. So it's very important that you have discipline to do that. And I think people need to understand that these companies that we have make a terrific positive impact on the world. I'm proud of every single one of them. Samuel Bankman-Fried and the stuff he was doing didn't come through our door here at the trust center. That's not what we do. That's profiteering. That's trading. If you're just doing cryptocurrency. But when you look at our website, and you look at our stories, we have people like Mariana Mattis and Nusha Gailey, who started this company called BioBot Analytics, where they took a technology and they said, we can find out the health of a city by looking at the sewage that comes out, the wastewater. And then they set up, using technology and biology and IT, they set up a dashboard in the city to say, here's the health of your city. You have Zika virus in this part of the city. You have fentanyl in this part of the city. You have opioids here. You have COVID coming in here. And they could tell you within the neighborhoods where it was happening much before they could by testing people. And BioBot Analytics has gone on to be an extremely successful company. And they don't focus on the profits, but they have had to raise, a large tens of millions of dollars to do that. But they're literally saving tens of millions of lives, certainly, maybe tens of millions of lives by having a system. And that's an example where profit and purpose can come together. And that's why we look for, because if you do something like that, you will get the best talent, you'll retain the best talent. And by the way, investors will want to invest in you. You can't just have a stool that's all about profit. That stool falls over. It's got to have multiple legs to stand up. So what you're doing at BA is so important. And that's what, to me, that's real entrepreneurship. What you do in trading and making some money, that's profiteering. That's not what we teach.
Thank you. We're really humbled by your comments. Yeah, we're trying to make people's life better, and that's our mission. So when our young founders go to investors, like let's say venture capitalists or other forms of investors, when they go with the idea of social and climate ventures, the common problem that they come across is that they want some sort of quick returns out of all this stuff. And this is something that you addressed in the first question. So how these young founders should communicate with the investors and other stakeholders about the long-term perspective, and what are the strategies that they should follow in convincing these important stakeholders?
Well, I think if you're going to convince people to invest in you, they want to know that you are extremely disciplined. They want to know that you're tracking the money very carefully, that you understand what's your cost of customer acquisition, what's your lifetime value. And even if I am not looking for immediate return, I want to know I'm investing in you. I might be giving you money as a family foundation or something like that. I want to know that you're going to put that money to use, and you're going to treat that money as if it were your own personal money. And so when you go to see these people, make sure that you convey, we have the discipline. We know where the money is. You can't just be, we have this idea and we have the spirit of a pirate. You have to have the execution skills of a Navy SEAL too, to show them, here's exactly where your money's going to go for. Here's exactly what the return is. And then whether they're looking to make a huge profit or not, every investor is looking to have a huge impact if they're going to be thinking about mission. And you've got to show them that impact and how each dollar is going to do that. That's how our students do it. And you have to understand don't waste your time on a venture capitalist who only cares about how much money they make. You have to find, the family foundations or government agencies or whoever who are going to fund you to get it going. But ultimately, you can't depend on investors. You've got to build a business that's self-sustaining, where the customers pay you for your business because you create value and they're going to pay it for you. That's how you make a scalable business, and never lose that focus. The focus isn't on the investors in the long term. The focus is on creating customers who get value and then extracting some rent for that.
Yeah, probably that's the common mistake that most of our young founders make, like running after the investors, pitching without making something so valuable that customers would like to have immediately. So from all the questions, I would like to ask you a different perspective. Is that
Rashed, I
sure?
just want to comment on that. Let me just give you very quickly. Is too often people first fall in love with the product, and then then they start obsessing about we have to get the investor. No,
Mhm.
what you should obsess about is what problem are you solving and why are you solving that problem? And then as Simon Sinek says, the how and the what will follow that. The investors will follow that. But why are you doing this? Everything else supports that. Fall in love with the why. What's the problem you're solving? Don't fall in love with the product. Don't fall in love with the investor. Fall in love with the problem that you're solving. Fall in love with the customer.
So thank you for like explaining the whole stuff so in a amazingly articulate way. So let's say I'm a aspiring young entrepreneur who wants to have the impact either from a social point of view or from a climate point of view. So what would be your advice to start with? Like I know you have a framework that's been laid out in disciplined entrepreneurship. Let's say I have picked your book, I have picked your playbook as well. So how I can navigate this as a young founder who doesn't know anything, who just want to solve a real problem that many people of let's say Bangladesh are facing.
Mhm. Well, first of all, you have to get in the game. You have to try it. And then you have to find people who will help you learn it. I mean, I didn't come out of my mother's womb an entrepreneur. You have to try it. You have to get other people who've done it to help you. This is why BA is so important. And this is why having a book is so important. But you're not going to learn it just by the book. You're not just going to learn it by the video. You have to go do it. But you can't just do it without having some guidance as to what you're learning. And that comes from, yes, it comes from, first of all, you got to do it. Second of all, you got to kind of know what the first principles are, and then you have to try it, and then you have to and learn through an apprenticeship model. It's not enough to know what to do. You have to learn how to do it. And then, so we always talk about it starts with the heart, 4 H's. The heart, you got to want to do it, have that spirit to do it, the mindset. Then you have to go to the head, the second H, kind of learn what to do, read the book, watch the videos. But third, the H is you have to do it. You actually have to do it. And then the fourth part of it is, even if you're getting mentors in the mind and the hand kind of telling you what to do, you also need the last H is home, a community. And I think this is underestimated. Entrepreneurship is different than other things. You don't do it by yourself as much. You do it with other people, but those people don't work for you. It's a community. It's a distributed way of doing that. And the BA community and like what we have right here, you see people walking around. It's very important that they form communities. And I know that's hard in some areas. It's easier in urban areas and rural areas. But it's very important to find your entrepreneurial soulmates that even if they're not on your team, but they're going through a similar experience. And this is the community. And that's the last stage. It starts with the heart, the inspiration. It goes to the head to know what to do with the books and the videos. Then you have to do it. That's the hands. And the last one is find a community where you can continually learn and you can quickly access other skills and resources and networks as you need them as you go forward and times change.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the community plus part is really underrated in most of the time. So thanks for bringing this up. So like we as an organization, when we play the role of an incubator or accelerator, in many cases we have to be limited to the like urban or peri-urban areas. But in the rural areas, rural parts of our country, there are many entrepreneurs. There are many promising entrepreneurs that who need our support. So since you have been connected with like incubators or accelerators from all parts of the world, how do you think we should solve this problem, like reaching the support to those last mile people who are not connected to the urban, peri-urban areas?
Yeah. Well, it is an advantage when you're in an urban area. I hate to tell you that. It's an advantage because you can interact with other people, and that's why we have a physical space. And if you're interested in entrepreneurship, I would say it's good to be mobile, to go to urban areas to time, to meet other people, to meet other rural entrepreneurs in a central location. I think you shouldn't, entrepreneurship is not a solo sport. But if you're in a rural area and that's where your customers are and that's where you're going to be working, I think you have to use technology to stay connected. And the good news is we've never had technology more ubiquitous, more ever present, and it's never been more easily accepted than after COVID, that we're sitting here, you're in Bangladesh, and I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts on the MIT campus. We're able to talk. I think to be an entrepreneur today means you have to take advantage of technology. You have to learn how to use Zoom. By the way, you should learn how to use ChatGPT. Every time there's new technology, you should learn whether that's useful or not. Because if you don't, you're going to be behind the curve. As someone once said, like, we're very actively teaching our students, encouraging them to use ChatGPT. And someone said, well, ChatGPT is going to take over jobs. No, ChatGPT isn't going to take your job. Someone who knows how to use ChatGPT will make your job obsolete. So the people, whether you're in urban, whether you're in rural, yes, you go talk to people, and you should find opportunities to create that community and those serendipitous collisions and personal relationships. But you also have to learn how to use technology, whether you're in rural or urban areas. And Zoom is a great example, and being very good at email, and again, being disciplined, ChatGPT. But technology gives you an ability to be an entrepreneur in places where it wasn't possible before. So the opportunity in rural areas is going up, not down, because of technology.
Yeah, true. That's really helpful. So thank you for sharing all the perspectives, all the relevant perspectives you had. So we haven't been got chance to talk about you. So like Bill, if I request you to share one memorable story of like your entire entrepreneurship journey, your entire educated journey, what would be that one story?
I started my career at IBM, and I used to think, boy, it is great to have a job. It's great to have a job. And I would go to work at IBM. And I kind of never thought about this before. And then I'll never forget driving up to my company one day and looking at the parking lot, and it was filled with cars of people who we had created jobs, and those jobs were for them, allowed them to buy a house or to raise their family or send their kids to school. And I just sat in the car and I looked and I said, this is incredible. When I was at IBM, I felt very good because I had a job. Now, as an entrepreneur, I can create jobs for myself and other people. And that's really very, very inspirational. I think that, we just had our President Biden say, everyone deserves the dignity of having a job. And I agree with that. I hope everybody can have a job. But I think even if you have a job, there's another level of dignity, and that is being an entrepreneur, where you can create your own job, you can create it for others, you can create more jobs because you're an entrepreneur, all these things that we've been talking about. You're going to make the future. You're not going to just keep doing what everybody else is doing. You have the heart, the head, the hand, and the home that you know how to be an entrepreneur. And for that, you don't need to found a company. You can work in other companies, as I said, but it's a very invigorating, it's a very great feeling to have. I hope that, I haven't answered that question before, but I hope that story gives you a sense.
I could actually visualize you sitting in a car and thinking about hey, what am I doing? It's probably I can create a lot of other jobs that I'm not able to do right now. Yeah, that probably will encourage many other young founders. So,
and it wasn't about the money. Just to be clear, it wasn't about the money. It was just, hey, look, we're all going to have enough money. We're not going to die because we don't have money. But, hopefully not. But it's how you feel about yourself. And that's really important. The money comes if you do a good job and if you feel better about yourself. But it's not about the money. It's about positively changing the world and how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, have a like leaving a legacy and having a positive impact at least in my community, probably in my neighborhood, and by extension in my country, and by extension by in the entire world. So the last question, Bill, apart from disciplined entrepreneurship, what one book you would suggest to our entrepreneurs? What one quote that inspired you continuously, and one productivity hack that like help you to live through the daily grind?
So what one book? I have a whole bunch of books listed there, but John Wooden's Pyramid of Success for basketball has always been, you get the fundamentals right and the other things happen. One quote, I don't even know if he said it, but that which does not kill me makes me stronger. And what was the last one? Productivity hack.
Yep.
I like to work more. When I've got to do things, I try to get them done in the morning. And if I have a lot to do, I'll try to get a little extra sleep. The best productivity enhancement I've learned is as you get older, get a good night's sleep. You'll think a lot more clearly.
Okay.
But before,
Well,
if
thank
that's
you.
the last question, I want to, applaud you, Rashed, for what you're doing in Bangladesh. This is just spectacular. I mean, we need entrepreneurship everywhere. It can change people's lives. And so what you guys are doing is really fabulous. And my hat's off to you.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Thank you, because the lessons that I get from your online stuff, from your different courses, from your different classes, YouTube, that's amazing. And the most important thing is that we were able to implement just a tiny bit of this, and oh boy, the result we are getting is amazing. So I really hope that we get to implement the entire like 24 steps of disciplined entrepreneurship in a real life setting in Bangladesh, and send an email, hey Bill, we have done it, and we are getting amazing results. So thank you very much for being with us. I know you were really busy, but yeah, I can't thank you enough, Bill.
No, thank you.